Hello and welcome to Reform Watch UK with me, Graham Hughes and Ollie Bowlerhatman. How you doing, Ollie?
I'm all right. I'm doing well.
So this is quite fun because we were going to do Geoscope this week, but obviously there was reasons we couldn't do it, and so I was like, well, let's do a Reform Watch. We haven't done one of them in a while, and literally just in the last few minutes, the press conference with Robert Jenrick, joining the Conservatives. Refuck. It's what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
So this week we had Zahari mooching over there because he wasn't going to get a gong from the Tory.
Yeah, wasn't going to get a peerage.
Wasn't going to get a gong. He wasn't going to get a gong. I mean, a gong.
You can tell whenever someone like defects of Zawari's level, every like conservative news outlet out there was like, oh well, you don't understand. He was begging Badenoch on his hands and knees, begging for a peerage. She didn't give him it, and that's why he's left.
Yeah.
Oh, anything now.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I guarantee you, if it's not been done so already, there will be stuff coming out.
Yeah.
About like Robert Jenrick, like how bad he was at his job. Someone is going to leak something.
Oh well, he was a monster. He was an absolute monster. I mean, he's the guy who, he did the deal, didn't he, with Richard Desmond, who was the owner of. He made all his money selling porno mags in the 80s, called things like Burley Legal, Readers' Wives and stuff like that. And then he bought the Express newspaper. And he's a massive Tory. And he sat down with him. They had a little bit of a discussion, and Jenrick made it so that he could avoid paying over £10 million of tax that he would otherwise had to pay on a development he was putting together in Tower Hamlets. They fast tracked it through so he wouldn't have to pay that money. So he's corrupt through and through, and that's what we know about. I'm sure the Tories have got dirt on him.
No, but the best one I've heard today is I think it was the Times, the guy doing the Times was covering this, and he said if you took all the ambition out of Robert Jenrick, all that would be left would just be a completely like boneless chicken. He's not wrong. I mean, Jenrick was one of these people who has, ever since he was there, this guy was a Cameroon. Then he was he was a Remainer. Then he became, a Brexiteer.
Yep.
Then he became a Boris Johnson loyalist. Yep. Then he became a Liz Truss loyalist.
Yeah.
So he has basically moved with ever like the political wind he thinks will get him, higher up the greasy pole. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens now he's in reform, because, as we've seen before in the past, it's not like they've got on very well. So expect some infighting in the not too distant future.
I'm hoping they're going to unload on him. They must have something. Sophia Lance is saying, can we have a minute's silence for Phil's schedule?
Phil's schedule, my schedule. This happened. Like, I just about to hit record, and this happens, and I'm like, so even like my first video, I'm like, yeah, this has literally just happened. I don't know what else is going on. I'll talk about it maybe next time, but I'm doing my video now. Damn, my schedule takes precedence.
It's crazy, isn't it? But like this is I mean, we can't really say this is massively unexpected. We've known that Jenrick isn't happy in the Tories for a long time. He's made it very clear. He ran for Tory leader against Badenoch. Badenoch won. He wasn't happy about that. It wasn't something that was not. I mean, it's still a bit of a shock that it's actually just come out now, because apparently he was going to wait until the local elections to make the announcement just before the local elections.
Or do you want the Do you want the inside goss on this? So
Go on.
this has been. Let me get it up.
Excuse me.
One second. Or is it? Here it is. Here it is. I'll send you the link as well, so you can have a look at it as well.
Okay.
But this is the goss, shall we say, from Kitty Donaldson. She's the chief political commentator over at the Eye. This
Yeah.
is what her inside sources were telling her that was gonna happen and go down.
So yeah.
Yeah. So this is what happened. So exclusive. Inside Robert Jenrick's plot now to defect to Reform UK. So on Wednesday evening, screenshots of Jenrick's draft defection letter and accompanying media plan to make the most noise possible about his defection to switch sides were passed to Badenoch's office. Kimmy Badenoch's shadow cabinet was then held away last day on Thursday at the office's management of the consultant Oliver Wyman back in London to talk about party strategy. One attendee was taking very detailed notes. Robert Jenrick was, quote, behaving like nothing was happening, according to an attendee. Badenoch and Jenrick had a quick phone call catch-up over the weekend. His innocent demur was still in place at the shadow cabinet meeting in Parliament on Wednesday, and that, quote, really annoyed Kemi, a Tory source said, as his performance after his betrayal became very clear. The Tories then compiled evidence that included information about then a dinner between Jenrick and Farage just last month, meanwhile establishing that he had now discussed switching to Reform with at least 2 allies. So this is something else that we have to watch out for. Is there going to be some more defections? Because he was saying he was going to bring people with him.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it, a lot of people that have been covering this.
Yeah, he said there was going to be like what was it? He was going to bring 40 people with him from the Tories, which would be like a third of the party at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying that there's that there was going to be a couple of people coming with him. There's going to be like a bit of a mass defection, because you've got to remember that you've got to remember where Robert Jenrick is sort of sitting. This is the guy who, back at the last like Tory leadership bus stop, who lost. Everyone was saying, because of James not so cleverly's, if we remember that little debacle, little incident he pulled, which was meant to knock out Kemi, but ended up knocking himself out. Everyone was like really annoyed at the fact that this was like meant to be Jenrick's. This was meant to be sort of his. He obviously lost in the final 2. And everyone was like, don't worry, Kemi is so bad. She's still been, so bad. Doesn't really change anything. She hasn't changed anything internally within the Tory party. She hasn't put forward any new policies that they're going to support as a party. So the Conservative Party has not changed since their defeat of 2024. Like nothing fundamentally has changed in the Conservative Party. And they were all like, oh, Kemi's so bad, Kemi's so bad. So was this big Robert Jenrick faction in there.
Yeah.
Like, make no mistake, what happens to them now? What do they do? Do they go with Jenrick? Do they switch? So there is a possibility happen. Either A, we could see potentially a mass defection, or this potentially even kickstarts a proper full-on like brawl in the Tory party about who's in charge and what. This isn't Badenoch's safe plan. Yes, you got rid of Jenrick, but what about all those supporters that he had? He had a lot.
Yeah.
Had an awful lot, and Tory MPs supporting him. So this ain't over. This ain't over by a long shot. This might just be like the first in a series of you know, shall we say, reigniting the old Tory civil war that has lain very cold for quite a while because Badenoch has refused to do anything that might, restart the conflict.
Yeah.
She might have very well restarted it. This
Yeah.
might be she's set off possibly a big firework. It's just what happens over tomorrow, what happens in the next coming days. Who knows? But yeah, it's gonna be interesting on that one.
Yeah.
Very interesting over the next couple of days on this one.
Well, just before we go on, I just had to say hello to everyone out there watching. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat here, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and wait for approximately 1 minute, and you'll be able to join in with the conversation, which I would like. I would like it if you did. And also, super chats are open. If anyone wants to drop in a chat, I'm going to set a goal for just 5 super chats, just 5, any color for until we finish the show. And if we get that, we will get some confetti, which is very exciting. Love a bit of confetti. So yeah, so the news broke for me. I was listening to James O'Brien, and he got obviously given a bit of paper, and he was like, "Oh, okay, it's been an announcement." And then he read out what Kemi Badenoch had put onto Twitter. Now she had actually done a pre-recorded video. Go on, say.
Yeah, this is it. That video that everyone's seen, that was pre-recorded.
Yes.
So she did that first, then got her chief whip to give Robert Jenrick the boot.
Yes. And they set it up so it was just at the beginning of a refuck press conference, so they'll get questioned about it on the hoof. And it'd be asked if he knows about it. It was like that TV show where the traitors, where they're all trying to suss out who the traitors is. Like, oh no, it's not me, definitely not me. £2 super chat, thank you very much from Brad. Get popcorn for Farage versus Jenrick ego bust up. I can see that
is very likely to happen. That is something that could happen as well
down the line. But then, so what happened this morning? We got the message from Kemi Badenoch. She was not just kicking Jenrick out of the government, shadow government, thank God, the shadow government, also kicking him out of, as an MP, losing the whip, also kicking him out of the party, so he's not even a party member anymore. And then we had a few hours where we were sort of more making videos about it, I guess. And then this evening, there was a press conference, another one. And Farage is like, oh yeah, we were going to have this one anyway. What, you're going to have 2 press conferences in the same fucking day? And on comes Jenrick. He's a bit late coming on. Yep. Like, he misses his cue. And then he stands up and he just gives us a blizzard of economic doom, of like a stats blizzard. And it was talking about the fact that real wages fell historically from 1970 to 2007 and flatlined since then. UK drifting in terms of how how well off people are, standards of living, and talking about the fact that when Poland joined the EU, they had a GDP per capita half of what it was in Britain. Now they're set to overtake us by 2031. Housing costs framed as the worst in the OECD. Young adults earning less than their parents did. Energy prices highest in the developed world. Heavy industry halved since the 2000s. This is the Tory talking about the lack of heavy industry. 1 in 5 Brits not working. Apparently, I mean, does that include the people who are retired? I think it does. Debt. He talked about national debt. He talked about the national debt, Ollie. He talked about schools. He talked about defence. He talked about A&E waiting times. He talked about persistent school absence. He talked about crime being 93% unresolved, saying that law and order has collapsed. Court backlog, overflowing prisons. The army being the smallest it's been since Napoleonic times. He talked about small boats since 2018. Note that Labour have only been in since halfway through 2024. Yep. But, cherry picking extreme cases of brutality, criminality. He cherry picked these cases to go, oh, look, this asylum seeker did this. this person with this, this background did this. He claimed terrorists have entered the country on small boats. He claimed net migration is 100 times higher post 1997. He claims communities are unrecognizable, so a little bit of a racist dog whistle in there. So his rhetorical move was like, Britain is broken, and here's why you should be furious. And I wasn't part of that government that ruined Britain.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that at all whatsoever.
Do you know what? It's like the police chasing after a criminal, who's just committed murder. And the criminal goes past like a fancy dress shop and just picks up like a sparkly hat. And he puts the sparkly hat on. And all the police are like, where did he go?
Where did he go? There's blood all over him.
Yeah, he's like, no, it can't be him. He didn't have a gold hat on.
He's got a sparkly hat
on. Fucking hell. Or do you remember? I don't know if you're old enough for this, but the original 2 GTA games, Grand Theft Auto, you used to get rid of the police by going into a garage to respray your vehicle. So you could be getting chased after by like hundreds and hundreds of police vehicles, and then you just take a left into a garage,
and that will be it.
And it goes respray, and then you come out, and all the police cars just go away because they're like, oh, it is a different color now. Can't possibly be the same, even though they saw you go into the garage. It's a bit like that. Yeah. Sophia Lance, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. I refuse to help Diz get confetti. Chris C's got a serious question for you, Ollie. Should a by-election be held when an MP is either sacked or defects to another party?
Well, I think people know about this who've watched my channel. This is my big bugbear. This is my biggest bugbear.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Come on. I'm sure you got a bigger one than this.
I hate it. At a local council level, a national MP level, whenever an MP changes party and goes to another party, you should have to. It should automatically be triggering a by-election, because it is not fair to the people of that area who may have legitimately voted for that candidate because they wanted someone from that party to represent them, not the party that person might now represent. I hate it, and I think that it should trigger a by-election. Pretty much every single party in the UK is guilty of this.
Yes.
That's
why they won't stop it. That's why they won't stop it. What if they lose the whip? Now, I mean, because sometimes, like what happened with Labour when they first got in 2024, they suspended about a dozen Labour MPs for voting for an SNP amendment to the King's Speech. And a lot of them got taken back on board. So they were suspended for a bit. They were sat as independent MPs for like 6 months, but then they came back. So what would be the rule on this? Because if you say, well, you got to have a by-election as soon as you get sacked.
Yeah, and they're not saying, right, we are not going to the other side. That was like a punishment. And I suppose that in some way, shape, or form, you have to have something to keep your party in line in a way. So that's fine. And they didn't go and join another party again, which, well, one did, which again has resulted in constant hilarity. But it's when they specifically go off and join another party and become a MP of another party.
Yeah.
That's where it always sort of annoys me. If you want to go and be an independent, fine. But when you are going, I'm specifically going to join another party, at that point, I don't think it's fair to be.
I know it's not the system, and I've never had. It's not like my biggest bugbear, but I do understand your argument. Also, because it's not just unfair on the people who have voted for that person. Yeah. Also, it's unfair on the party. I'm a party member of Labour, so I give money each month, and that goes towards getting Labour representatives elected, right? So I've paid some of my dues back in the day to getting Zara Sultana elected. And then as soon as she gets elected, the very first week she's in Parliament, she's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm off to start my own party or whatever. And it's like, why did I chip in as a gang, as a group? And Phil Morehouse says this. He says, if you don't want to be part of a party, don't be part of a party. Don't join it and then go, oh no, this isn't perfect. I'm leaving now. It's like scoring a goal on purpose for another team, or like halfway through a match, like defecting to the other team. It's like,
it's just
And I think it's unfair. Like the people who knocked on doors and gave time, even if they were a fucking Tory, knocking on doors for that Tory representative.
Well, this is it. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for these areas where you went out in May and you voted specifically for like a Conservative councillor.
Yeah.
I feel very sorry for the people of that borough who all of a sudden, like 2-3 weeks down the line, all of a sudden they've gone off and they've joined, Reform. I do feel sorry for those, for those residents, because they voted because they wanted a Conservative councillor, not a Reform one. They would have voted for Reform otherwise. No, they voted for, a Conservative.
Yeah.
It's just the same. I just feel sorry for voters at that point. And there's very little you can do. There is MP recalls, but an MP recall is a very, very hard thing to achieve. Historically, very few have actually ever gone on to sort of really succeed. And even at a local council level, that again, it's even harder, purely because there is such a dispassionate interest in local politics. It is very, very annoying that unfortunately that happens, but there you go. However, I do hope that might change in some of these reform areas.
Simon Harris has put Reform UK. We're absolutely furious about what happened with immigration in the UK under the Tories. Anyway, please welcome our newest recruit, the guy who was responsible for immigration under the Tories.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is long-term damaging for Refuck? Because they can't brand themselves as the new party, something different. For people who say, I'm sick of Labour, I'm sick of the Conservatives, I'm going to vote for somebody new. It's not them, is it? Because they're just still Tories.
Since May, there has been a lot of infighting, not only in these council groups where they are in charge, but even within local parties. And what is causing it is the true the true purples, I suppose we'll call them, the true right reformists, and these conservatives, and they are butting heads because they want very different things constantly. You see this on the councils all the time. They can't disagree about the thing that they're disagreeing about. You saw not that too long ago in Sheffield East, an entire Reform UK branch disappeared overnight and joined Advanced UK. Because they fell out with the party. No one's sure exactly what happened still at this point. This all went down before Christmas. No one's 100% sure what happened or why this whole defection happened, except apparently the reporter that asked is basically told, oh, it's all legal at the moment. So
well,
who knows what's happening there?
We got a super chat in from Freckle Puny. Thank you very much for that. Jenrick moving to Deform UK is like Sid Little joining Cannon and Ball. Yeah. Indeed. Christy says asks, is losing the whip just a suspension, or do they become independent MPs? If it's the latter, then should there be a by-election called in that instance as well, which we were just discussing. It can be a temporary measure. It can be a permanent measure. It depends on the behaviour of the MP. But as soon as it is announced that an MP has lost the whip, if you go onto the parliamentary website, it will list them as an independent. It won't say that they're part of a party anymore. So I think there is a grey area here. And it's pointed out by Yuri Infectinov that Newark, where the constituency of Jenrick, have turned further towards Refuck. So Refuckwits are seeing Jenrick's defection as a positive thing. Cavan Lad, thank you very much for the £2 super chat there. That's very kind of you. Do you know the last thing that Farage said at the end of the press conference?
Oh, go on then.
He said, "See you
As he
next."
said.
He said, "See you next Tuesday."
Oh,
That was his last words, and I was just like,
well, this is it. I think they've lined up a load of defections. I really do. I do genuinely believe Farage that he has been talking to a lot of people, because there's one thing that the Nazim, can't even say his name now, Nadim
Sahari.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's all.
I can't
That's
I
the
can't
bad
even say it.
one.
Oh, so yeah, there's one thing that he did bring with him. He brings a lot of contacts, networks, donors with him.
Yeah.
You know, if you were to say who is going to have the bigger impact on, reform, him or, Jenrick, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
He brings a lot more, like, resources and contacts and
Well,
people behind him.
this is what Farage said. He said it with Maloney's party over in no, it was Maloney. Sorry, what was it called? The 5-star party. It was the 5-star
Yeah.
party in Italy. They got into power, but once they were in power, they didn't know what to do because none of them had experience of being in government, and it was a fucking disaster. And this is why they're trying to bring people in with experience. The question I'm going to ask
for him
in a moment, because as Brad is dropping £5 into the super chat fund, thank you very much. Starmer, darling, I won't be needing that Viagra tonight. Jenrick's blown up the Tories. But yeah, I mean, kudos to Kemi Badenoch for, getting the knife in first.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's a question for you. Do you reckon, because Farage said in this press conference, he alluded to the fact that he's got someone from Labour next week who's going to be joining Refuck. Who the fuck from Labour would join Refuck? Because I couldn't see the people who voted for them being too happy about that.
If he has, I think it would be very likely be someone from the north.
Yeah.
I think it would be someone from the north.
Do you reckon it'd be one of the fucking blue Labour lot?
I don't know. I think it would be, if it is someone, they'll probably be somewhere from the north, and it'll be in a constituency that's
going to go to Refuck in the next election. Yeah. And they know it. The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Kate Hoey. I know she's not been an MP since 2020, but it will be Hoey, said Nick and Diff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be Hoey. Was she ever Labour? We talk about Labour not being Labour anymore, but like when it had people like Hoey in under Blair, when they were just, I don't know, starting wars.
This is it. This is the whole thing with like big tent parties. In big tent parties, you're not going to agree 100% with everyone all the time, but you do agree that, that's sort of the direction, we want to go in. Yeah. You might not 100% agree with everything you do every time, but you have that big tent behind you, because that's what gives you, the voting power. That's what wins you elections. That's what allows you to then, do the voting in Parliament, to make change, to, wield power. And you've seen that effectively this week with the Your Party stuff and electing the
what's happened with that?
The conference. Yeah.
Oh, is that still going on? Is it still rumbling? Oh, just let it die.
Oh,
just let it die.
So hilarious. We can publicly reveal this now. I managed to sneak in to Your Party because they sent me an email saying, yeah, were you a member of Zara Sultana's, did you sign up to that? And if you did, we'll allow you to join Your Party for free. So
you did?
Yeah, I did. So there is a official member of Your Party called Phil McCracken. There's Dick Turpin. There are I made
Amanda Lovenhug
just to see like how far you could push this. So I've made like a few very obvious joke accounts, and they were able to vote for policies at the conference.
Yeah.
They are able to vote for people at the NEC. They are also able to put them forward to stand as a candidate if I wanted to go that far with it. And I'm not gonna lie, it'd be hilarious putting forward vote for Phil McCracken.
Do you know what though? Someone pointed out that your party is quite useful because that it gets all the disruptive cranks from the left and puts them all together. Do you know what I mean? So they can just argue amongst themselves forever about niche issues that no one else in life gives a flying fuck about. So, there's that. There's that. George only, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I live in Danny Kruger's constituency. People here are very Tory, but liberal, moderate, old, conservative, not far right, radical like Kruger. I get that. I mean, Kruger might go. I might go.
Yeah, it's honestly who's going to go next. Because I think by the sounds that way this is being reported, I think there's some more from the Conservatives. I think there's plenty more from the Conservatives that are now weighing up their options, especially if they were Jenrick supporters.
Do you not think though that this is a ridiculous thing to do? I know this has come as like people who are either ego driven, like Jenrick, or like like with Zahavi, he was just like bereft at the fact that he wasn't given a gong and he decided to stick one to the Tories doing this. But Reform is Farage. It's like MAGA is Trump. I don't think that this party can exist without Farage as the glue holding it together. I think it just fall apart.
So UKIP, for example, fell immediately apart the second he left. This'll do the same. It's being held together by the whole Farage myth of, oh, I'm like the ultimate outsider, and he's not. He's anything but. But the closer he gets to power, the more we have seen, the more we have seen, scrutiny put against him. So we've seen scrutiny brought up against him a lot more in the past sort of couple of days. You remember before Christmas, he basically went into hiding at one point because he was getting it that much. He's even refused on a couple of occasions not to sit in for PMQs and sit in the observers gallery instead and say, oh, well, how dare I not be. And you're like, you could if you took your place in Parliament.
Yeah.
There is that irony there. But it's interesting to see what will happen now.
We've just been told who was it who put this in. I'm sorry, I can't find the message now, the original one, but I've just put in the link to the Best for Britain's defection tracker, and this is all the people who have defected over from the Tories over to Refuck. We've got Anne Widdecombe, Lee Anderson, Lucy Allen, Mark Reckless, Andrea Jenkins, Aidan Burley, Marco Longhi, Sarah Puchin, Alan Amos, Ross Thompson, Anne-Marie Morris, David Jones, Sir Jake Berry, Adam Holloway, Nadine Dorries, Danny Kruger. Oh, Danny Kruger's already gone.
Yep.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even realise he's already... So he's already joined VFuck.
Mm.
Shit. Maria Caulfield, Sarah Atherton, Chris Green, Jonathan Gullis, Leah Nicky,
all the true rising stars of the
Nadeem Zahari and Robert Jones. 25 Tories have defected to Refuck. I mean, even if they do get like one Labour scalp, I mean, it's coming across because Zahari was told he wasn't getting a gong, and that's why he's gone over there. And because Jenrick was sacked before he could quit, it does look very much like Refuck a hoovering up the rejects, the people who lost their election or they were cast to one side, like a jilted lover in the case of Nadine Dorries. I don't know.
Oh, Mike's in the chat as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, Mike's in the chat as well. Good point, actually. Priti Patel and Braverman.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of talk at like the last Tory bruiser about Braverman potentially going to reform.
I could see that.
There's again a lot of talk about Patel switching it as well. So I would not be too surprised if they switched. If you were a betting man and you were to put money on Tories that might switch, it's probably one of those two. Those two would be a good bet. I would find it very hard to disagree with you doing that, to be honest.
Yeah.
The other interesting one, it got mentioned today, was Jacob Rees-Mogg.
What?
Did you see that?
To go to refuck?
So, yes. So what a lot of people have been missing out on is that since Rees-Mogg lost his seat, he has been going around trying to deliver the message to the masses, even appearing at some reform events, saying that we need to unite the right.
Yes, I heard this. He said unite the right. Yeah. He wants to bring everyone.
We've achieved Covfefe.
We have achieved Covfefe. Yoo-hoo! Thank you so much to Brad W for the super chat, which triggers. Keep talking.
We've achieved. We're not yet. It's not yet. It's not quite ready.
Not quite ready. It's because I haven't done a reform watch since I made the Covfefe. There it is. Yeah, we got it. We got there in the end. I had to click on a few things. Thank you very much to Brad W. Do you think Truss tried to join and was rejected? I don't think they'll reject her. I think she might.
I will say I still think she's too toxic. I honestly think she's still way too toxic for anyone to go near her. I think it was way too. She's way too, and not only that, but given her weird YouTube videos she's been posting recently, a bit far gone, to be honest. By the sounds of it. She's been posting a lot of weird stuff over
there. Kirsty, thank you very much for the super chat. Braverman has gone back to Aardman animations. Chris is saying about Trump threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act in Minnesota, which he's done.
Yep.
He's threatened to anyway. This is all part of the process. You know, we put a load of armed troops on the streets, kill a few civilians. You know, the blood that must be spilled, the sacrificial blood of Americans. So that Trump can stay in power forever and not have to, suffer the humiliation of the midterm defeat that is staring him in the face. But yeah, we're talking about refuck today. We were going to go through all the shit that's been going down in all the councils because more recently, Andrew Husband, who's in charge of the council here in Durham, as his latest company's gone bust owing £1.5 million. I thought his last company went bust owing £1 million. But now apparently this keeps happening. This, don't know why people keep invested in him. He owes loads of tax money, but he's the best person to lead a council. Meanwhile, Durham City Council's council tax are going up by 5%.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get that next. I think it's next week. Your full council meeting where you'll get the full details. I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be fun. Because I think all these council meetings where they have to put the budget forward are pretty much either going to be held like next week. So you're going to get a lot of news about what these reform councils are doing with all those efficiencies that they are doing. So look forward to that.
When they're not fighting like rats in a sack. UK Mars Adelaide, thank you so much for the really magnificent £20 super chat. Thank you. Congratulations to Reform for doing their bit for the environment to introduce a failed Tory politician's scrappage scheme. Yeah, indeed. Decommissioning.
Yeah, decommissioning.
Like an old nuclear power station. Needs to be decommissioned. Don't go too close to it. You'll fucking die.
One thing we need to talk about, Nottingham. Go
on. Tell us about Nottingham. Is this the place where they spent £75,000 putting up fucking flags?
Yeah. It gets even worse than that. So, as you just said, 75k on these flags, and they are like these two little things you stick on a lamppost, and it's like almost like a little roller banner. So the flags even aren't in the right way up. you know.
Oh,
But
for
Lee
fuck's sake.
Anderson went and opened his big mouth and said that, oh, don't worry, this won't cost the people of Nottinghamshire a penny. Because guess what? They were going to get all these sponsored by businesses. To which, so far, no business will sponsor. That's the first thing. Not only that, these flags, from what I've been told by some people in the comments where I've talked about this, they're not even near like any businesses themselves. So businesses, if they wanted to like sponsor them or maybe use them as some sort of like advertising thing, they can't even use them because they're not even anywhere near the shop. That's another one. And it gets even better because you'd think running the council, maybe someone would have thought of the little something called planning permission.
Oh yeah, planning permission. You need that.
Haven't got planning permission for these flags.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That wasn't included in the amount of
not
money
included.
that they put it.
Not included at all.
But isn't it up to the council to grant planning permission though?
Yeah.
So they can just go, yeah, can't they?
Well, they are. Well, that gets even worse because they are the council, and they're not even granted themselves planning permission.
£75,000 on flags, says Tommy. I think someone's getting fleeced. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's people of Nottinghamshire, unfortunately. So,
all these fucking flags on lampposts. Do you have any round by you?
Not round by me, but I know
all over the place in Durham. It's making me really want to leave, mate. And like the thing is, it's bringing down the house prices around here. It's a really working class area, and they're bringing down the already, quite mediocre house prices. I don't mean mediocre. I mean low. The house prices aren't great around here. You could buy a really big house in Durham for something you'd pay. You pay a fraction of what you'd pay in London. An absolute fraction. And made even worse by the flag shaggers.
Yep.
The flags on lampposts tells you where all the dumb live. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Andy. People don't want to buy houses in those areas because they think that. They go, well, this place is going to have people who are, Tommy Robinson types.
Don't want to live there. Yeah.
The protect our women and girls type. Oh, this is another thing that I think that Zahari and Jenrick's defections have taken attention away from, but was pointed out by Keir Starmer in PMQs yesterday, that Nigel Farage and all of those fuckers have been going out and saying with the whole chest that the child abuse images being generated by Grok is absolutely nothing to worry about. And anyone who complains and says that's absolutely morally abhorrent, how is that not illegal? As said, he says that's people who want to curtail free speech. So in Farage's head, making horrific images of children to share with paedophiles to, enjoy. Apparently, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for freedom of speech that needs to be protected at all costs, even if that the cost of that is for a small child to have their agency taken from them and be abused in a really horrific way and be humiliated in the school that they go to because one of the boys in their class gets Grok to undress them digitally and then shows that picture to everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of safeguarding kids, this is yet another classic reform blunder.
Go on.
I believe it's a council down in is it Southwark, I believe. They are now cancelling return home interviews for runaway kids.
What? How can they do that?
So what happens is any kids that are sent to this council area that they are not responsible for, they would normally help fund the return home interviews.
Yeah.
For those kids. They are cancelling that now. Now it is non-statutory funding, but it makes sense to do that because having that information is really kind of, an important thing to know so that you can stop these kids from running away again or
Right.
find out why they ran away in the first place.
Right.
And yeah, they're stopping that funding. So
Is that to save money?
yeah,
Is this part of their Doge cuts or the Dolge
probably
cuts?
it's not good though. I mean, it's not good at all.
The way that they're running councils must be looked at in terms of how they will run the country given half the chance.
Yeah. It's just it's like Millet. We talked about Millet a lot on Geoscope.
Yeah.
He's just gone absolutely, crazy and done all kinds of of damage to like Argentina and the stuff over there. And it's just this exact same nonsense. It's why, he's held up by a lot of these, by conservatives, by even Kimmy Badnock
Yeah.
and Nigel Farage as like, that is what we should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, but he can do what he likes, and then he'll get bailed out by the Americans. Like the
Yeah.
Americans gave him
Yeah.
$40
Yeah.
billion to bail him out, while Americans can't get healthcare, while Americans can't feed their kids, and he's given $40 billion to his fascist mate.
Yeah.
Can you
And
keep being a
that
bit
one,
bit
they'll burn
fash?
through that eventually. So they'll have to bail him out again. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Keeps on happening. Before this, he had like the world's largest loan from the World Bank, from the IMF.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, for the thumbnail of this, I put jump ship rat. I did originally put jump ship twat, but the censors didn't like it. Sorry about that, one angry pagan. I'll upset one angry pagan with that. He's like, why are you using rat as a pejorative? I might change it after the event. And Mike Dick's list of backers in Jenrick in leadership election.
Yeah.
Is that to look at for who might defect?
Probably who might, be making a jump.
Right,
I'm not, again, I'm not surprised. Like I say, Jenrick had a lot of supporters. It is very likely they may make a move themselves. I don't think this is the last,
Yeah.
shall we say, move. But the thing that Farage really, I think, wants more than anything is he wants sitting MPs. And of course, Jenrick is a sitting MP. So it's the question of now, can he bring over anyone of his faction who is a sitting MP? And what will happen over the next couple of months? Because I think I think by the sounds of it, Reform are doing a big like push on a lot of stuff of this, like leading up to like the local elections.
Do you think that there's the Conservative Party? I mean, the damage has been done by Boris Johnson getting rid of all the moderates in the Conservatives, all the sensible people. So it's just the wingnuts who are left, really, isn't it? But do you think there is a thing in the Tory Party, because it's traditionally been for 400 fucking years the party of the landowners, the party of the aristocrats, the wealthy elites, and I can see them looking at a little spiv like Nigel Farage, who went to like one of the lesser private schools and got a job working in the City of London, and never really, he's always wanted to be one of the gentry. You can see when he goes to the Boxing Day hunt, or he dresses up like a fucking country noble or whatever the fuck. Do you think that could be a rallying call for the older Conservatives, the Conservative donors, to say, listen, we're going to lose the Conservative Party to these upstarts, this nouveau riche upstarts, if we don't do something about this? Do you think this might be the kick up the arse of the Tory Party that it needs to get its shit together?
I maybe, but it's who takes over, who's capable of doing that. At one point, I would have said it was Scottish MP, Conservative. I can't remember his name now. He was Oh, he sat on the defense committee. I can't remember his name now.
And was him, that bloke.
No.
No.
He was in both recent leadership elections as well. I'm blanking on his name. I can see his face as well. Can't. Anyway, he was. I think when he ran, and he was in the he was in the Liz Truss contest where she won. He actually ran, basically saying, "Look, the Conservative Party needs to change fundamentally. We need to change it, or else we are going to lose if we don't do anything." He was trying to offer this brand new way of trying to change the Conservative Party. He might have actually succeeded, and at the next Tory election, he basically just fell in line and just said, "Yeah, everything I said last time, forget about it. I'm pretty much joining in," and he lost pretty much almost straight away. Again on it. So yeah, it's one of those odd moments where it's who would be able to do that?
We had Sunak and Truss, obviously, Kemi Badenoch, Suella Braverman, Jeremy Hunt, Penny Mordaunt, Tom Tugendhat.
That's Nadine him, Tom Tugendhat. That's
Tugendhat. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's old school, rich. Like he's from a very wealthy aristocratic family. Yeah, I mean they all are. Jenrick is privately educated. Everyone except for Leanderthal, who's an MP for Refuck, is privately educated. So it was 4 out of 5. Now it's 5 out of 6.
And part of the reason why is his pitch was, we need to pull away from all this craziness that Brexit has done, that Boris Johnson has brought into the party. We need to sort of pull away from that, all that nonsense that we've sort of unleashed. But then he went in and just drank the Kool-Aid at the next general election. So who knows if he was actually serious about that message, first time around. But it's who's left to do it, because someone has to sort of fly the standard in a way for bring sense back to the Conservative Party, because you've seen what happens to the Republicans where they are just so far in the weeds.
Yeah.
They just can't seem to even let go of Trump.
Well, I mean, but I mean, they're ticking up in the polls at the moment, the Conservatives, and I think that Jenrick thought that Kemi Badenoch would just be in for about a year, and then that will be the end of that, and then he'll slip in to be the new leader of the opposition.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of people talking about that he missed his chance.
Yeah. So that's fueled his desire to go to Refuck, which he sees as a shrewd political move, but I just see it as an absolute fucking dead end. He's not that he's only fucking 44, so he's not even that fucking old. Like he could have a long political career ahead of him, but not if he joins Change UK or the SDP.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's just
actually Mike said James Cleverly might join Reform. I don't think he will.
Oh really?
I think him
fight.
Yeah, well, this is it. I think James Cleverly might be the one to oppose Badenoch. I think he might now start positioning himself as a leader in waiting in the party. So we'll see if he can, do that. But then again, this is a guy who is, shall we say, known within the party as Cleverly by name, not by nature. So
yes.
Plan so clever, he knocked himself out of the last Tory leadership contest.
This is true. Well, I mean, the thing is as well that the Tory party has got a lot. When I want to talk about its sort of heritage, it has got a lot of old money behind it. Generations of these motherfuckers who have been part of the Conservative Party, and I think for them to all look at Refuck and go, yeah, that's the way of the future, when it is just one person, and it's kind of, in a way, all things being equal, right? If there was no Refuck, there's no way the Tories will win the next election, no matter how stupid Labour are being at the moment, no matter how shite the comms are. They still wouldn't win in the next election because of what they did over the last, well, the previous 14 years of their administration. So a bit of patience, and maybe the Tories get back in with a tiny majority in 2035, maybe, or 2034. I can't see that, you know, the refuck fuckers getting in 2029 at the moment, unless something major changes. And the fact that you've got Farage, who, as Sheffield Steve is pointing out in the chat, he was laughing when they were talking about online safety. He was chuckling to himself yesterday in PMQs when they were talking about safety. But also, they've shackled themselves to Trump. And the more unhinged and the more horrible things we see coming out of America. And don't forget, they get all this bullshit fed to them that woman who was shot last week, Renee Good, she deserved it. Here's the reason: she was actually a terrorist. She abused her children. She did this, you know, the sort of whole thing of like shooting a target or shooting a wall and then drawing a circle around it and going, oh, look at here, it's a bullseye. I think it's going to turn a lot of people away from refuck. So for me, for these Tories who are moving over to refuck, I think it's really like short-term thinking, because they're thinking, oh, you know, 2029, we could do something amazing, but just wait. Well, I don't want them to ever get back in, but I just think this is a ridiculous crusade to go on when it's all built around the ego of one disgusting nicotine-stained man frog who is absolutely fucking hated by half the country.
Yeah, I mean, it's if he ever, like I say, if Farage ever does get in, I mean, that's that. I've said this before. The silver lining is he's done. Farage can't solve any of the problems of the UK. He will just make things infinitely worse. He will be donezo. And then it's who's in his party. You've seen how bad they're infighting at these local council levels, how bad the infighting is at the local level. We've seen Farage can't even keep, you know, 4 people together during the Rupert Lowe scenario. It's gonna go very, very wrong for him, I think, very quickly. Very wrong indeed.
Well, UK, Mars, Adelaide, £5 super chat. Thank you very much. I think the next election, Lib Dems will be the kingmakers.
I think that's a good bet as well. Be the case. I think it's a very good bet. Yeah,
and they're not going to go with refuck, not in a million years.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll go with the Tories again because of what happened last time. They really got their fingers burnt then.
Unless they put unless they say, right, we'll go with you, but Badnoch's not being prime minister.
I don't think Badnoch's going to lead them into the next election, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the May elections. I think the May election will, should we say, decide her future, should we say, on that one. Very, very much so. That has been, I think, on the cards for a while now. So we'll see what happens, and then we'll see what happens with the Tories on that one.
I absolutely love this from Brad W, who's dropped a super chat. I wish I could give you a super chat for this one. Nigel Farage's Reform Party is an anagram of for pale arsey manfrog grifter. Oh, I love it. That is fantastic. Thank you very much, Brad, there for the wonderful super chat. And I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. So yeah, we're going to have to wrap up soon. But for those who have got, you know, things to do later, Super Tansky's going live at 7:30 tonight. And if you continue to watch this channel, it'll automatically go over there. But we're not going to keep yapping on until 7:30 because we got things to do, don't we, Ollie?
Yeah.
With our lives, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so where next? I mean, for refuck after this, do you think they're going to get a low? Because one of the things that Farage said during that press conference is he said that anyone who wants to defect, they've only got up until the local elections in May 27, of which aren't going ahead now. But
yeah, that's a lie.
We've only got, and then we're gonna, and that's it. The door's closed, and I'm just looking at that going, that's bullshit. Like, oh, come on.
You're not going to turn down. You're not going to turn down. Yeah, they're not going to turn that down at all. Someone else defecting. That is, yeah, I agree. It's complete nonsense. They're not going to turn anyone down after that.
Yeah.
That's just, I think that's trying to like maybe put pressure on people that might be on the fence. I think that's why that's been said.
Yeah. And Mike saying Lib Dem Labour coalition with Zach as environment minister. Could happen. Could happen. But yeah, I don't believe that Keir Starmer or Kemi Badenoch are going to lead their parties into the next election. Could be wrong, but I can't really see it. And the unpopularity of Starmer is quite shocking. But when polled, people still think that he makes a better prime minister than Nigel Farage. You know, I can't see, and you know, I do not want to be proved wrong on this, but I can't see a way for Farage and his gang of fucking lunatics to get a majority in the next election. I just can't see it.
Yeah, they'd have to, I think, go into coalition with someone. But it's like who would go into coalition with them?
Well, nobody.
Yeah.
Well, this is what's happened in other countries with the far right, like the AFD and the Wilders party in the Netherlands. No one's wanted to go in with them because it just tarnishes everyone if you go in with the hard right. So I just
And people have seen what's happened when you put these people in power. Italy for the past couple of years has just been a revolving door of different far right parties. Because they've just gone, well, that party was a failure, but don't worry, we're the real party that'll solve Italy's problems, and then they get in, and then they fail, and then another party comes up and says, we're the. That's how Italian politics has been, but that's just the weird state of Italian politics. They've got three chambers. To deal with. Why they think three chambers is a good idea, I don't know, but there you go.
just to come back to British politics, though, I think that Kemi Badenoch, I thought she was fucking awful in P&Qs yesterday, but today I genuinely believe, just all things being equal, being neutral about this as neutral as I can, I think she played a blinder. She absolutely stole the thunder from Jenrick, who was planning to do this whole massive thing, and she got there ahead of him.
This is because apparently he left his speech lying around.
I heard about that, and I'm like, who? I mean, if you found someone's resignation speech to go, you'd be like, oh, this is a setup. Someone's setting him up here. But then someone's gone, oh, actually, no, it's Bob in it, and they've gone, all looked at each other and gone, oh yeah, it's Bob. Oh yeah,
but here's the other thing that he could have done. Here's the other thing he could have done. He could have turned around and gone, I wasn't, leaving. I wasn't about to defect. He could have very legitimately just turned around and said, I'm not defecting. What you want about? Show the proof. This is something that we haven't yet seen yet. At least I haven't seen. I don't know if it's out there now.
Well, we don't need to now, do we? Because it was true.
There's these screenshots, etc. floating around. That's what he generally could have done.
I think he would have just been digging deeper then, wouldn't he? But what I was thinking... Sorry.
But then what he could have done, he's just gone, oh, right, you've pretty much now left me no choice but to join Reform.
Yeah.
And he could have played it like that.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to do it, but you made me.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it, but now you've put me in a position where I sort of feel, well, I have to, just, fire back at her. And even just say, well, there's someone in your, party that didn't want me to go. If you wanted to cause maximum chaos in the Conservative Party, that's what he should have done.
Yeah.
Honestly, on that one.
Yeah. So, but the way that Badenoch's gone about doing this, it does fire a warning shot across the bow for any other Tories who are thinking of defecting. It's like, no, we're one step ahead of you. And they aren't. I mean, this was a fluke that they sussed out. If you're daft to print something out, who prints things these days? Actually print something out and then fucking leave it on the desk or whatever. Oopsies. But yeah. Oh, there's a troll that's been gotten rid of. Thank you very much, Diz, for sorting out the troll. Might be a bit of an inflection point where either more Tories who are planning to leave go, oh, fuck it, I'll just leave now. Or you might get the Conservatives actually saying, look, if you don't want to be, part of this party, you're going to have to make this decision now because this is ridiculous. You can't just go on and pretend that you want to be part of this party anymore. So, I don't know if there's going to be a night of long knives or,
I think, honestly,
or...
this isn't going to solve any problems in the Conservative Party. I think this has done nothing but, I think now, set up future problems. Because if you were a Jenrick supporter, this all happening doesn't matter that he's gone to Reform. As far as you are concerned now, there are maybe people around you watching, like thinking what's going to happen now, and who do they go to now? Because you've got to remember the party is still split between like the moderates that are left in the party and still this free market fundamentalist fringe.
Yeah.
That is still the Tory party. They have not changed at all. They are still the same. And that fracture that Boris Johnson caused is still there.
Yeah.
It's just, when is it going to reappear again? Is this the moment where it reappears again?
But what's the Boris Johnson fracture? Because I mean, he got rid of all the moderates, so it was just the wing nuts left.
He got rid of some of the moderates. Didn't get rid of all the moderates. The moderates are still there. The wets, as they are called, they are sort of still there, but it's that free market fundamentalist fringe who wanted Brexit, who are like full blown, Thatcherites, we want to do all this, crazy stuff. Liz Truss was right in what she did, but she just did it wrong, the poor girl. That's the type, essentially.
Yeah.
So, there is still this big split in the Tory pie, but it's again just a question of when is it going to reappear again? It's inevitable, but it's just a question of what is going to be spark
for years it was Europe. For years it was Europe, and that's why Cameron announced the referendum. He just wanted to shut the part of the party that were up Nigel Farage's arse. He wanted to shut them up. Yep. But it is putting all of the it's putting all the eggs in one basket as far as I'm concerned. They go over to Farage, and if Farage, he's one bifter away from a clogged artery, isn't he? So. UK Mars Adelaide, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Has Ollie looked at Conservative Home recently?
I'm just looking at it now. What have I missed?
I don't know. I try not to look at it.
Has Q Bad not finally answered the Jenrick question?
Yes.
We'll see.
The vote is increasingly fragmented, says Tinkanator. Hard to say exactly where the chips will land in the next election because of votes listing and demographics would suggest a reform government in some form. There's also the fact that in the last election, the reason why Labour ended up with 400 bloody seats and the reason why the Lib Dems ended up with nearly 80 fucking seats was because of tactical voting. It's the reason why the Greens ended up with 5 seats, because of tactical voting. And that's not going to go away. And you are going to get people voting in certain elections. They're going to hold their nose and they are going to vote Conservative to keep refuck out.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So the amount that the Tories were hated, like people were voting anyone but the Tories, and we might see that again. Labour, don't forget, you got two streams here, because you've got Labour as the party and the government doing daft fucking shit, but then you've also got Labour as the party and the candidates themselves, the individual MPs. And an MP can have a really good relationship with their constituents and get voted in, even if their party's pretty fucking unpopular. So I'm, like I say, the mathematics at the moment for refuck getting an overwhelming majority in Parliament just isn't there. They hit a high last October or whenever it was, and they've been slipping in the polls ever since. They're down to, 23% now in the polls. I know they're still leading the other parties, but it's worth remembering whenever polling comes up that in 2019, in the May of 2019, we had EU elections and the Tories got 7% of the vote. And in December that same year, they romped home after a general election with an 80-seat majority.
Yeah.
You just don't know. You just don't know. But yeah, I think in order for Labour to pull this off, they really need to change the leader and stop announcing things before they've thought them through.
Yep. Although I'll tell you what, they did shock me today with their comms. Their comms over this were actually pretty good.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. They posted a traitors clip.
Did they?
In response to all this, yeah.
I know the Lib Dems put the picture of him.
The Lib Dems put him in the traitors thing as well. So that was, I have to say, that was actually kind of good. They were actually kind of, on point for once, but more of that, please.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, listen, it's only about 18 minutes until Tan's due to start over on her channel. I don't know if you want to leave this on your phone or whatever, but if you keep watching this channel, it will automatically take you over to Tan's channel when the credits finish. So please stay on if you'd like to watch what Super Tansky's got to say about this mess. She's usually even more sweary than me, which is kind of cool. So I just want to say thank you to my co-host, Ollie Bowlerhatman, who you can find here on YouTube at Bowlerhatman, giving his doing your vids, and
well worth with these council chaoses.
Yeah, well worth a subscription. Talking of subscribing, if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, that means that you will get notified if you hit the bell notification icon when we go live. And failing that, if you are already joined and you're already a member of the channel, give us a like on the way out. You always like a like, and it feeds the monster that I keep at the bottom of my garden, which is called the algo. Called it the algo. Blah blah CW. You should do a show with your mods. My mods are my rockers. And my rockers. Maybe one day. I'm so disorganized. It's a miracle I get anything made on this channel, I've got to say. But yeah, we'll look into that later in the year, I think, definitely. Tinkanator says, while there may be some cases where tactical voting unseats certain candidates, this will not be the case most of the time, sadly. Even many Liberal voters are thinking of voting reform out of anger. Yeah, Tinkanator, you're right at the moment, but my point was that we don't know what's going to happen 3 years down the line.
Yeah, it's still too early to call the next general election at this point.
Farage is linked to Trump. He is stuck to Trump, and if America falls into fucking carnage, which it will if he takes over the Fed, and if he puts troops on the street. Oh, he's already put troops on the streets. If he starts shooting innocent people. Oh, he's already started shooting innocent people. If he declares martial law, gets the Insurrection Act going, and suspends elections, yeah, I don't think people are going to go looking at what's happening in America, which is going to be covered 24/7 on all the news channels, and I don't think people are going to go, oh, should we have some of that here? I mean, some might, because some people are crazy, but most people are like, that doesn't look like much fun. Anyway, so thanks very much, Ollie. Hopefully you'll be back. Are you around tomorrow for the Friday night social? Have you got
I won't be. I'm off to Harrogate tomorrow. For a wedding,
for a rave, or for a rave in the forest in the middle of
the forest. We're off to Bobbyland.
Well, I hope to see you on Tuesday then for Geoscope. Obviously, we've got a lot to catch up on what's been going on around the world. Big shout out to my mum who's watching. Hi, Mum. And until I see you again, 9:00 tomorrow morning, hopefully, for the next episode of Morning Brew. Until then, thanks very much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye.